Think about the absolute last time you had a nasty cold. You know the drill, right? Your nose is just endlessly running, your throat feels like sandpaper, you're burning up with a fever, and honestly, all you want to do is just stay curled up in bed. We have literally all been there. It's a completely universal human experience. Okay, let's dive into this explainer. Because what is actually happening under the surface during those miserable moments is absolutely fascinating. For anyone who loves biology, or especially if you're a student trying to understand how your own physical machinery actually works, this is hands down one of the most incredible subjects you can study. We're going to look at the microscopic battlefield that's happening inside us every single day.
So it all starts with this one core question. If our bodies are fundamentally designed to protect us, why do viruses and bacteria sometimes seem to, well, win? Why do we have to suffer through the coughing fits and the fevers, only to usually recover after just a few days? Now, it is incredibly easy to view illness as a glitch in the system, a momentary bodily failure. But the source material we're exploring today completely flips that perspective. The central thesis here is that getting sick is not a sign that your body is breaking down. Actually, it's visible, undeniable proof that your body is actively fighting back against a major threat.
Chapter 1. The Microscopic Battlefield.
To really grasp what it means to be sick, try imagining your body as a giant, bustling city. The second chaos begins and normal, everyday functions are disrupted by unwanted invaders, your biological city transforms into a full-blown war zone. And the first responders called in? That's your immune system. It's your body's dedicated, highly specialized emergency defense team that goes to work the absolute second it recognizes something just isn't right. As we're going to see, it is a highly coordinated, tactical response unit.
Chapter 2. Breaching the defenses.
So, dangerous microbes are quite literally everywhere. They're in the air we breathe, on the door handles we touch, and yeah, they're even living right on our own skin. But you walk around inside a natural fortress. Now, what's really interesting about these defenses is how these vastly different biological features act as your fortress walls and work perfectly in harmony to keep invaders out. Your skin is the ultimate outer wall, blocking most germs completely. Inside your nose, tiny hairs act as physical traps for dust and bacteria. Then you've got sticky mucus, which is designed to capture unwanted particles before they can travel any deeper. And even if you accidentally swallow something harmful, your stomach contains a powerful acid capable of utterly destroying many dangerous microbes. It's a brilliant multi-layered security system.
But of course, no fortress is entirely impenetrable, right? Sometimes a sneaky virus or bacterium manages to slip past these external walls. It might find its way in through your mouth, your nose, your eyes, or even just a tiny cut in your skin that you barely even noticed. Once that breach happens and the invaders are actually inside the city walls, well, the real battle officially begins.
Chapter 3. The Cellular Hijack.
To understand the war, especially for all you students of microbiology out there, we have to understand the enemy. Let's compare our two main antagonists side by side, bacteria and viruses. Now, bacteria are living, single-celled organisms, and while many are completely harmless or even helpful, harmful bacteria attack by multiplying rapidly and releasing toxins that directly damage your tissues. Viruses? They are a completely different story. They aren't truly alive in the usual biological sense. They literally cannot reproduce on their own. Instead, a virus invades one of your healthy cells, completely hijacks that cell's internal machinery, and forces it to produce thousands of new viruses, which then spread to neighboring cells. So the crucial takeaway here is that whether you're facing a rapidly multiplying bacteria or a hijacking virus, the infection grows fast, prompting your immune system to immediately dispatch white blood cells to race to the scene.
Chapter 4. Your Body's Secret Weapons.
When the immune system detects these dangerous germs, it deploys a serious arsenal of weapons. The most famous one is something we typically dread, the fever. It is so common to think of a fever as the illness itself, like as the thing that is wrong with us. But the truth? A fever is actually one of your body's absolute strongest weapons. When the immune system detects an invasion, it deliberately sends a signal to the brain to crank up your body temperature. Why? Well, because most viruses and bacteria evolve to thrive at your normal body temperature. By raising the heat, your body makes it so much harder for those invaders to survive and reproduce. Simultaneously, that higher temperature makes your own immune cells work even more efficiently. It's an incredibly smart tactical move. And that is exactly why doctors often view a mild fever as a perfectly normal, absolutely necessary part of the healing process.
Chapter 5. Symptoms as Strategy. So the fever isn't the only thing that feels terrible but is actually helping you. Think about all those other super annoying symptoms you get when you're sick. The coughing, the sneezing, and that absolute bone-deep exhaustion. These are highly calculated defense strategies. Coughing is an active mechanism to physically remove mucus, dust, and germs right out of your lungs and airways. And what about that overwhelming fatigue? Well, your immune system requires an enormous amount of energy to fight a microscopic war. By making you feel tired, your body essentially forces you to rest, deliberately saving and redirecting massive amounts of energy straight to the immune system. Even a loss of appetite serves a clear purpose, allowing your body to focus its resources entirely on healing rather than the highly energy-intensive process of digestion. Literally, every uncomfortable symptom has a job to do.
And if you want to know just how forceful these defense mechanisms really are, consider this number: 100 miles per hour. That is the speed at which a single sneeze can blast unwanted particles right out of your nose. 100 miles per hour. It's an explosive, high-speed biological reflex designed to expel invaders from your system as quickly as humanly possible. It's definitely an amazing little data point to keep in mind the next time you feel a sneeze coming on.
Chapter 6. Winning the Invisible War.
Eventually, if everything goes according to plan, we reach the major turning point in the battle. Your immune system begins to gain the upper hand. The white blood cells are actively destroying the infected cells, clearing out that hijacked infrastructure. But the immune system doesn't just fight with brute force, it fights with incredible precision. And this is exactly where antibodies come into play. Antibodies are highly specialized proteins produced by your white blood cells. They are meticulously designed to recognize, attach to, and mark very specific viruses or bacteria. You can think of them as laser-targeted homing beacons. Once an antibody attaches to an invader, it flags it for destruction, allowing the rest of the immune system's cleanup crew to swoop in and wipe them out with maximum efficiency.
And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute most amazing part of the whole process, particularly from a student learning perspective. Meet the memory cells. These are immune cells that actually remember an infection long after the battle is won. Sometimes they remember for years, and sometimes for your entire life. If that exact same germ ever tries to enter your body again, your immune system recognizes it instantly and destroys it before you even feel sick. Your body physically learns from its experiences. This is the exact foundational science behind why vaccines are so incredibly effective. Vaccines safely introduce a harmless version of the threat, practically tutoring your immune system on how to recognize it and build memory cells for dangerous diseases long before the real live infection ever occurs. It's just an extraordinary biological learning system.
Conclusion: the victorious body.
So we've traced the entire arc of this microscopic war. We've seen exactly how the fortress is breached, how the immune system mounts a vigorous defense through fevers and strategic symptoms, and how precision tools like antibodies and memory cells ultimately secure the victory. Let's quickly review the core tactical steps of how your body fights back. First, it raises your temperature to create a highly hostile environment for germs. Second, it sends a literal army of white blood cells straight into battle. Third, it produces highly targeted antibodies to mark the invaders for destruction. And finally, it remembers the infection to protect you in the future. Getting sick isn't a moment of weakness at all. It is a masterclass showcase of your body's incredible resilience, adaptability, and tactical warfare.
I want to leave you with this incredibly empowering quote from the source material. Getting sick isn't a sign that your body is failing. It's proof that your body is fighting back. The next time you're recovering from a cold, remember the extraordinary, invisible war that has just been won on your behalf. Keep studying, keep learning, and never stop asking questions about the world around you and the world inside you. Because it really begs the question, if our bodies are capable of learning and adapting to invisible threats this efficiently, what other extraordinary, unseen battles is your biology winning for you right at this very moment?